Did you guys read that long profile of Embiid that came out like last season?
Absolutely not. Sup, nerds? It's basketball. Welcome to Horse, a basketball podcast about everything except for the wins and losses. And my name is Mike Schubert, and I'm joined by my trusted co-host, the Kawhi Leonard having an off-the-record deal with aspiration to Kawhi Leonard having an off-the-record deal with Daktronics, the scoreboard people. It's Adam Amawala. Adam, how's it going?
Where does the trail end? Because it feels like there might be more on the horizon here.
Yeah, we will talk about this exclusively for Full Court Press, Get It Like the News, and that's going to be the beginning of this episode. But yes, the shortest version is that there was a second Kawhi Leonard secret cap circumvention deal that looks way worse than the aspiration one, and it's not looking good for him, for the Clippers. We're recording this on August 7th. Miraculously, this news dropped yesterday at 9 p.m. Eastern on August 6th. So horse recording curse be damned. Unless in between us recording and posting, there is some decision made. I don't think that's going to happen, but
no, I think just once per summer, we're going to find out about a different illegitimate business that Kawhi Leonard was part of. Because it's the same time that this happened last year.
And there was also like a third one discovered that doesn't actually have direct cap circumvention. It was just like a secret investing thing that was sketchy in between, with him supporting a Rhode Island soccer team without there being knowledge about it. This happened in between the two. It was like he was a secret supporter / investor of Rhode Island FC, and he opened LLCs to do it. And there's this whole thing of like, well, is this part of it? Because he only put in the money for it and created the LLCs like in January of 2024, which is when he signed his 3-year extension with the Clippers. So it was this whole thing, but they couldn't tie anything together. But this one with the scoreboard company is like incredibly direct. So
when people yell
really
scoreboard at Kawhi this season, it could be about multiple things.
It could be. Look, where are they going to yell to him? Is it going to be in China? Because I don't know if this dude's going to be in the NBA this season. It's not looking good.
I feel bad for the Raptors, honestly.
I do too. Kind of. Like, at least this is coming out before the trade.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad for the in a perfect world Raptors, where they could get Kawhi back and just Kawhi the player and all this kind of stuff. But I'm glad they held off on the trade officially because it's not looking great.
And what about the people who were traded for him? Like, that sucks for them too. They're like, where do I live? What am I supposed to do?
That's the wildest thing.
Yeah.
Grady Dick and Brandon Ingram just in like basketball / life limbo. Super weird. But yes, let's real quickly do some housekeeping stuff and then continue talking about it. We're going to go to the Teal Memorial locker room to get all this ready. You know who's in the Teal Memorial locker room and doesn't have secret deals with companies?
Historically, it's always been our patrons, and there's actually a special, we don't want to gatekeep, but there is a special entrance for producer level patrons.
Yeah, the special entrance is just, it's a tap to pay. You have to pay us X amount of dollars per episode. Shout out to our producer level patrons, Polly Bird, Salvatore Testa, Siobhan Ellsbury, Duncan Chasing, Taco Falls, Bang, Bang, Roast Beef Devry, Denver Steam Nuggets, Andrew Reed, Steph Curry got a contract extension.
Yeah, in addition to his $400 million shoe deal, a $136 million extension. So he's having a pretty nice little summer here. Bang.
He's doing okay. Good for him. I'm glad he's staying with the Warriors. He should be one team only guy. He doesn't need to win any more titles. Just he should dirk it up. So I'm glad. Chase Underulo, Naked Rachel, Sidney Crosby is a vampire, Chelsea's cousin, Ginger Spurs boy, Balls to the Walls, Mott's Forley, Utah Jash, Derry Bird, Alternate Reality, NBA Wife, and Bucking Valkyries. Whew. Now, if you're listening on Patreon, we're just going to keep going all the way through. You also will get a video episode because we got to put the video, at least of our interview portion. You'll have the video for that. But if you're listening on regular podcasting apps, we'll take a quick break for some locally inserted ads, and then we'll get back into the episode. All right, Adam. Very quickly, what do you got going on?
Well, I want to start with a quick shout out. I have made good on my word that I will remember the names of people that I meet at my show. So I want to give a quick shout out to Hallie, a horse listener who came out to my show in Washington, D.C. last week, and very nicely came up and said hello with her friend after the show.
Hello.
Said hello to you. So Hallie, nice to have met you, and thanks for coming out. Other stuff coming up this coming weekend. If you're listening to this when it comes out, on the 14th and 15th of August, I will be in Montreal, Canada. Then tickets are officially on sale for Atlanta. I know I kept alluding to
Eileen,
that.
go
Yes,
get your tickets.
Eileen, grab your tickets. They're all up on my website and all that stuff. That is going to be Thursday, October 15th. There's a couple things that are rescheduled. So Philly has been moved to December 4th, and then a gig in Easton, Pennsylvania is now on November 7th, where the Philly gig had been previously. Then I've got Bozeman, Montana on December 11th. Tickets are not on sale for that yet. And then I'm working on some other West Coast stuff, but nothing solidified there. So that's what I've got. Most of the same, but what about you?
Same stuff, but if you're listening to this the day it comes out, very soon, this coming Saturday, we got our live show in Brooklyn for the Newest Olympian. The first half, we're covering chapters 69 through 72 of the House of Hades, which I was told by patrons is the most exciting chapters of the end portion of the book. So we're saving the hypest stuff for you all. And then the second act is improv comedy, which is very, very loosely tied to Percy Jackson. So if you are not a listener of the Newest Olympian, but you want to see me do some stuff live, go. It's just going to be improv comedy where we ask someone from the crowd to tell us a story about when they went to camp. So it's going to be very open for everybody.
Hell yeah.
You can get tickets to that at thenewestolympian.com/live. And then I've got 2 shows in September, one in Boston, one in Philly. Those are also for the Newest Olympian. So that's where you can get all the tickets. Alrighty. Awesome. But do we have an MB Q&A, or are we just going to keep it rolling?
Just
with
in the interest of time, we're not going to do one, but Kelsey, aka Alternate Reality NBA wife, great question, and I believe we'll answer it on the next episode of Horse. We're just short for time because we had a great interview that's going to take up most of this episode. Let's get into Full Court Press Kawhi special.
Yes, I do get it like the news, and Kawhi is going to get it if it is a suspension. So yeah, as we talked about in the intro portion, basically Pablo Torre finds out, which is a great investigative journalism podcast run by Pablo Torre, who's won a Pulitzer already, and I feel like he's going to go back to back with them because this is the 13th installment of the Kawhi saga. And on the episode, which I did watch the premiere of last night, he announced that he's been working on this lead that he got for 11 months. Apparently he got a tip off about it 2 days after their first Kawhi episode. And he got a tip about it 2 days after their first episode. And it was like, hey, there might be another Kawhi Leonard deal. And they did all this digging. And at first there was this Rhode Island thing that was going on. But this other thing with the scoreboard company is now what has been revealed. And there was reporting that the NBA had been looking into a second deal. And then since their episode about the Rhode Island thing came out, people are like, is it this one? But no, it's most likely this one. Because in the shortest terms, and I'd recommend people either watch the full thing, or there's an ESPN article that we can link that recaps it pretty succinctly. But basically, the scoreboard company who made the giant, they have this big, I think it's called like the Halo board at Intuit Dome. It's the huge oval shaped, double-sided Jumbotron that takes up the whole thing and is very cool. That company, at least the screen portion, was made by Daktronics, who does like all scoreboards. It's like they do all the Jumbotrons. They kind of have the monopoly on it. They also did one of these deals, just like Aspiration, where Kawhi Leonard is a spokesperson and they paid him many millions of dollars, but he didn't have to do anything. The sketchier thing about the Daktronics one is that there were no other celebrity endorsements, and they never did one in like 60 years of the company's existence. So it was completely out of left field. At least with Aspiration, they had hired Robert Downey Jr. and Leonardo DiCaprio and Drake, and they had like these big names. And then the Kawhi thing was just like, why didn't he ever do anything? With this one, it's just like, why would a scoreboard company who's never done celebrity endorsements do a celebrity endorsement and then never do anything? And apparently it was like more public than the Aspiration one. Like it was talked about in the Clippers front office and around Daktronics and stuff. And according to one higher up source that talked to Pablo Torre, it was just a given that this was a cap circumvention thing. So it's really looking bad.
I kind of wonder if this is happening more often than we realize, and people are just better at covering it up. Because like, especially when you see people take lower contracts, like what LeBron took, isn't there always a part of you that's like, do they have some secret handshake deal that's like, hey, after you retire, we're going to just transfer a bunch of money into your account and hopefully nobody asks about it?
It's definitely happening because Dirk took less money and then got like a front office position with the Mavs immediately after retiring.
Right.
The Knicks for sure did this with Jalen Brunson because the production value and live show opportunity offerings for the Roommates podcast, which, as much as I love Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, is a terrible podcast.
Yeah.
As that, like the summer that Jalen signed his extension that was like max at the time, but if he stayed an extra year, he could have got the bigger max thing. They had the big show at the summer stage in Central Park, the block party with all this stuff. So there are certain things that I think teams will kind of even like, I don't know that they're as direct as this Kawhi thing is like, hey, sign here and we'll just give you money and you don't have to do stuff. There's definitely behind closed door stuff happening. But yeah, these two are just like the most obviously sketchy because inherently they are just like, oh yeah, you'll be a spokesperson and not do anything. It's wild that they didn't just have him like do some stuff. If he had done one social media post or one commercial, like it can't be that hard to get that dude in front of a camera, especially when it's like on media day and it's like, hello Kawhi, just say like, I love Daktronics scoreboards. Like it's laughably
yeah. I mean, there's
under
quite
the table.
literally a Kalshi ad right now where the entire ad is Timothy Chalamet just playing, like plinking around on a keyboard. And he probably got paid, $500,000 to fuck around at a music store. Like what's preventing Kawhi from having done something that took him 10 minutes and then it makes it look more legitimate?
Yes.
It just seems like a lack of effort in cheating.
Yes. Cause like at no point, like signing these deals isn't illegal. It's just because he so clearly did nothing that it's obviously cap circumvention. And I think that's what makes the investigation hard is that like, it's not like he signed a piece of paper that says I'm doing this so that you can pay me more money than the max salary slot allows for.
Although at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he had.
I know.
It says those exact words.
The thing, and I think what this all brings into question is like, what are the NBA lawyers doing? What is the lawyer team doing? All the reports are like that they are investigating the stuff and they are looking into it. The most generous read is that they are waiting until they have a super airtight case before presenting it because Steve Ballmer, having so much money, is going to lawyer up like no other. And he has lawyered up like no other in the past. I think in this Pablo Torre episode, they mentioned something about them getting into trouble with an LLC that they hired for the stadium construction and then him putting together a team of lawyers to get that kind of cleared away. So that's the most generous read. The least or the less generous read is that Adam Silver is trying to do whatever he can to kind of make this seem like less of a thing and not come down hard on the team or the player or both, or Ballmer as the owner. But I don't know. Then you've got conspiracy theories like everybody Chris sent along is that they're like feeding stuff to Pablo Torre so that like they can punish them and not get the blame. I don't know.
It's not a one-to-one comparison, but this to me feels a lot like all of the Shohei gambling stuff where it's like, did the league just say, we think this is really bad for the sport? And if we have the ability to cover this up, let's do our best to cover it up or make it go away.
Yeah, right. I think the problem is that, and maybe this is like where the league is at. It's hard to just like pin the blame on one person. With the Shohei thing, if anyone doesn't follow baseball because it's a basketball podcast, it was revealed that Shohei Ohtani was gambling lots and lots of money. And then they said, oh, it was his business partner / guy who handles his interpreter who also like does financial stuff maybe for him. And like could be true, could not be true, but there was a fall guy that could be there and it went away really quickly. Right. With this, it's hard because it's like, well, the team and the player is at fault. And you can't just put it on the agent. Like there's no person to just like throw it on. Right. You can't just like it's Uncle Dennis, Kawhi's uncle, who like tries to get all these extra add-ons. It's like really messy. And then on top of all of this mess is, as we talked about in previous episodes, Kawhi has been in quotation marks traded, but not official. So now you for sure got to wait until the punishment comes in. Makes it weird for Brandon Ingram and Grady Dick. Makes it weird for the Raptors, weird for the Clippers. We obviously have to see what the fallout is, but this particular deal is just so obviously sketchy where the aspiration stuff, the company went under and there's bankruptcy stuff and the Clippers and Ballmer keep saying we were lied to, we were defrauded, all this other stuff. With the scoreboard company people, there's not all that. And what makes it look even worse is, and they talked about this in the Pablo Torre episode, is that like they were not doing well financially. and then signed this super big advertising deal. You don't sign big advertising deals when money isn't good. If you're like struggling just to, because since they make these giant jumbotrons, like costs are very high. When you have to deal with costs just to keep your company out of the red, you don't sign a multi-million-dollar advertisement deal for someone who isn't charismatic.
Right.
Yeah. So
Notoriously
really, really
uncharismatic, actually.
Yes. So it's strange. It really looks bad. Obviously, this is very fresh. This only got announced last night, but it looks horribly bad. And I don't know what the punishment's going to be. I don't know.
Well, what's confusing because last year we were having the same conversation and assuming that it was going to have major implications on the upcoming season, hence us picking the Clippers number one, whichever one of us had that pick. I think it was you.
It was me.
Yeah. And like, are we just going to be there again in 3 months being like, what's the fallout of this going to be? But
Unless
it's
they make the
exponentially
decision
more
quickly.
Complicated because of the trade. Last year we didn't have the trade looming over all of it.
Right. I think it's safe to assume at this point that the trade is not going to happen. I don't think the Raptors want to touch this. And then the question will now just become, what kind of punishment do we do? What is fair? But I think you have to really punish the Clippers. I don't think Kawhi needs to be super punished. I think he should be, but I think more importantly, the Clippers need to be ethered. Like they need to be effectively relegated because if not, other teams will just
send them back
this.
to Buffalo.
They got something's got to happen where it's got to be really bad. And you see this because tampering, for example, tampering when you talk to players when you're not supposed to, when they're under contract or before negotiation periods open. It's been established that tampering is like a second round pick. So teams are like, fine, the Knicks did it. We tampered for Jalen Brunson. Cool, dude. We got Jalen Brunson for a good contract and we won a championship. I don't
10 out of 10 would tamper again.
Take all the second round picks. I don't give a shit, but that's the thing. This is really bad. When you have a salary cap league, the whole point of a salary cap is to try and make it more competitive for certain teams to be able to still get big guys. This is what happens in baseball. There's no salary cap. They're trying to make a salary cap happen, which is why there's going to be a lockout most likely. And it's supposed to keep it more competitive so that you don't have the Dodgers and my beloved Yankees just signing people all the time. Now, the Yankees aren't doing it like we used to. The Dodgers are just throwing money at people ridiculously.
And saying, hey, we'll pay you for the next 40 years and spread it out and all sorts of crazy
They're
stuff.
doing all sorts of financial gymnastics to make it happen. So if the whole point of a salary cap is to make the league more fair and a team is doing something where it's hey, our owner's got more money than God, we'll do this stuff to get around it. You have to, for the integrity of the league, come down super hard on them. And now that it's seeming like it's a Clippers thing, because that's what the second thing does. It's not just an aspiration thing. It's not just a Kawhi thing. It's two companies that worked with the Clippers. They made the scoreboard for the Clippers. Aspiration was on the front row courtside seats. These are Clippers-based organizations. So it's very clearly the Clippers doing this. Right. You have to punish them super hard. And I think it'll be an incredibly bad look for Silver in the league if they don't do it. So we'll just have to see.
It's going to be interesting, but thank you to the news world for dropping this information before we recorded. Good of us to record on a Friday.
Thank you, Pablo.
I feel like usually we would have recorded more early, but it all worked out.
It all worked out. But that is the conclusion of Full Court Press Get Out Like the News. We'll have more about the story for sure. But what we have for the remaining portion of this episode is a very fun interview, one that we were going to do before the Sixers got LeBron, and now they got LeBron, which makes it even more fun. Two guests you've heard on the podcast before, Hal Lublin and Sal Tamarkin. Two very passionate Sixers fans from different backgrounds, different walks of life, different timelines. And we just asked them about everything Sixers and the upcoming season. That'll conclude the app. So as alluded to, we have a very special interview, a double interview with two Sixers fans, and it wasn't even planned this way. It wasn't just because they have rhyming names, but they do have rhyming names. It is a lovely dynamic duo that you have heard on the podcast before separately, but now we had to bring them back. And I believe the plan was to discuss this stuff before LeBron James joined the Sixers, and then it just became even more relevant. So I'll introduce both of our guests first. We've got the co-host of We Got This with Mark and Hal. It's Hal Lublin. Hal, how's it going?
It's going great. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me back.
I am delighted for you to be back, and we'll have to put the video version of this up on the Patreon because I do appreciate the dedication for you hanging up Sixers jerseys in the background, on the side, on the desk,
So good.
hat, shirt. I'm assuming the penny was already hung up. It's really good. The pennant's already there.
Wasn't.
The pennant was not as a new addition.
Oh, no, the pennant. Well, the pennant was there, and then behind me is the Iverson retirement pennant.
And fun fact,
amazing.
that's not even Hal's house. He brought that all to a hotel room.
Yeah. I hope the owner doesn't figure this out.
Meanwhile, I haven't been introduced yet. Go on.
Well, I was going to say, the voice you're hearing right now is someone who's been on the show previously and is a newer Sixers fan, but don't let that detract from how dedicated they are, given the emotional backing of the text messages they send me. It's Sal Tamarkin. Sal, how's it going?
It's going great. Don't get it twisted. I'm a newer Sixers fan, but I'm as insane as a longtime Sixers fan. And I was going to say, like, the only jersey I have, so I got a Matisse Thybulle jersey. Don't ask.
That's great. That's a really good pull.
But then I found out he wouldn't get the vaccine, and so I sold it, or I gave it away. And then I got a Jared McCain City Edition jersey. Like, it came the week he got injured. So, and it has never been worn. So, like, Hal, everything you are doing with these jerseys, like, you're crushing it.
My friend, I have the Thybulle jersey behind me, which I got before he got traded. I have a Harden jersey. That one's gone. And I have a Jerry Stackhouse jersey. So I have a collect. For a while, I thought I was cursed. If I bought someone's jersey, they would get traded. But I just bought more jerseys. That's the secret, is go broke and they won't get traded.
That's true. That's how you beat the curse. I love that.
Mm-hmm. So you're both very dedicated Sixers fans. You both text me. Now that you're on the podcast together, I've long thought about putting the two of you on a text thread together with me so that I can save time talking about Sixers stuff. Yeah. So we're like, hey, you guys talk about it. So now we'll have to do it afterwards. You text me lots of Sixers stuff, and obviously when the LeBron news happened, that was wild. But before that was the Jaylen Brown stuff. So what was both of your instant reactions, and then now that time has set in, reactions to Jaylen Brown being traded to the Sixers in exchange for Paul George and then 2 first-round picks?
Hal, do you want to go? You want to jump in?
Sure. I mean, I think I had resigned myself to just enjoying the fact that we came back and beat Boston, which was a historic comeback that is not anything. It's rare, but even rarer for a Philadelphia team to do that. So I was like, that's my victory. Now we wait for 3 years for both Paul George and Embiid to be off the books, because Embiid he's slow. He gets hurt. I know he's going to be healthy this offseason, but that's it. Paul George, we just have to ride it out. And then all of a sudden, Mike Gansey comes in and like completely transforms the roster pre-LeBron. Between that, Dean Wade, and Anthony Simons, like, oh, wait, hold on. We have a bench now. We have a younger version of a Paul George type in his prime with 1 more year. Like, I couldn't believe how the team had transformed. It made me feel like we could possibly be competitive.
Amazing. Sal, similar vibes?
Similar vibes. I was nodding enthusiastically at everything Hal said. I remember seeing the tweet. Actually, no, maybe it was the LeBron tweet. I think it was, Mike, that I sent you and you were like, is this real? But my first reaction was like looking at Sham's username and wondering if it was one of those like fake accounts that adds like an extra letter and it takes you a second.
The I is a lowercase L or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I checked it like 5 times. Even after I texted it to people, I was like, I still think this isn't real. With Jaylen Brown, like, I mean, the thing is that like, things like this don't happen to the Sixers. Like, we don't get good players generally. Like, or if we do, it's like they were good in their prime. You know what I mean? And now they're hurt. Now it's like all of a sudden we have like the corpse of Paul Millsap dragging up and down the course, which, or like DeAndre Jordan or something. And it's like, what are we doing? You know? And everyone's like, we'll never get past the second round because this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, DeAndre Jordan is on our team. What's happening? You know what I mean? So like, he's in our rotation. So like that, just like the shock of this happening to the Sixers was my biggest reaction. And then my second reaction was to be annoyed, because I do pay attention to like the team if the team wins. But as you know, Mike, I really don't want people on the team who are like anti-vaxxers and have like weird bad vibes. And Jaylen Brown is like It's funny because I'm going to become like, I've always thought that vaccines were bad because now Jaylen Brown is I'm going to be like, maybe the earth is flat. I don't know. I can't see it.
I'm having some removed.
Exactly.
Wait, is
Let me go to the
Jaylen Brown
doctor.
like in that camp?
So he
He
was very squirrely about whether or not he got vaccinated. However, he did say, like, I remember at one point he said, like, you know, the WNBA is like 99% vaccinated or 95% vaccinated. The NBA is like 90%. We're doing a good job. And I was like, so you agree it's good for there to be, but there is like a question. Like, I don't know if we know definitively, but I feel like
I think he did it. He was just like, in the way that people pretend to be about the whole, like, I shouldn't be forced to do a thing, like right-wing grifters, when actually it's like they don't want to do it because they're unintelligent. I think he legitimately didn't like that it was a required thing, but I think he still got it.
Okay.
He's in this weird thing of like, I think he is a smart person, but he takes too much pride in the whole be the smartest guy in the room thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it sometimes verges into the territory where he becomes like, well, actually reply guy, fake intellectual, but like, I do think he is smart.
Yeah.
But I think he's like trying too hard to be like, no, my category is smart guy. And it's like, okay, you're not that smart. Like, it feels like the step before Neil deGrasse Tyson, where he's like, yeah, you're smart, but like, you're not that smart. And you're just like really invested in people thinking you're smart. I feel like he's on that wavelength.
I also think
I feel
that
fine about that.
It's fair to acknowledge, like, while being anti-COVID vaccine is not great, like, there is very real historical context for why African American people have vaccine hesitancy. And like,
Right.
for us to sit here, none of us being African American, and be like, how dare you, Jaylen Brown, be skeptical about that? Like, I agree that it's not ideal, but I also think more broadly, as someone who loves many sports teams, and a lot of these players like have opinions about things that I don't love, I don't want to say ignorance is bliss, but I do feel like sometimes I have to very specifically try to turn off that part of my brain and be like, try to enjoy the sport, because if you're playing this game, let's start with the owners. They're billionaires. Most of them are horrible people. Like, where do I draw the line in terms of what makes me annoyed about who to root for? So I don't know.
Yeah, he's definitely not in the territory of like, he hasn't been accused of domestic violence,
Right.
or he hasn't like shared like hate speech or anything. So I don't think he's a bad person.
Right.
I just think he's kind
It's
of
not like a
annoying.
Miles Bridges sort of scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, which I think makes him an interesting person to root for in your team. And I'm interested for Hal and Sal's opinion on this, because he's very good at basketball, but he's just like kind of annoying. So it's one of those people where he's like, it's not like Draymond where you have to like start defending someone kicking people in the nuts, but when he's on your team, you kind of have to be like, oh, well, you know, yeah. Like,
That's when you become the person who's like, you wish you had a nut kicker on your team. Everybody hates the nut kicker until, like, I mean,
course,
you
yeah.
know, we talk about like Embiid being a foul merchant, which he 100% is. He manipulates defenders into fouling him, and then also accentuates any kind of contact to get a foul. And
and
that's
I will
easy
fully
to
come
do.
through and say Brunson does the same
Exactly.
thing.
And SGA
But I think it's
and
more
everybody else.
And
but it's more
SGA.
valid when you're 6'2" in quotation marks than 7'0" in pen.
I would almost say the opposite, because when you're really big, people assume you're not getting hit. Like,
okay,
he's huge.
yeah.
He can't
LeBron
really,
is
he
probably
can
the
take
best
it. It's just a
example of
bump.
that. In
Yeah.
Oh,
NBA
LeBron
history.
is like,
That is valid.
oh my God, I can't wait to watch him walk 10 feet without dribbling and then not get a traveling call and not be annoyed by it. But as far as Brown goes, I feel like after the series, I was really annoyed with him because he got on one of his streams and started complaining about Embiid. He's a great player, but you know, he's foul baiting or whatever he was accusing him of. I was like, sour grapes, dude. Like, you lost. Take the L. Congratulate the other team and move on. And maybe, like, instead of streaming about this, you can go spend a couple months working on your left hand to make it better so that you, like, plug up some of those holes in your game. And then he gets traded, and I'm like, okay, well, he still doesn't have a left hand. But I actually watched one of his streams, and it's kind of interesting. It's interesting to understand why he's doing it, which is whatever relationship he has with the media isn't great, and he feels like he's misquoted or taken out of context. So he wants to go right to the people. I don't know how much I agree with that. Like, I don't care that much whether he does it or not. Ultimately, I guess I don't love it, but also if it makes him happy and there are people who are enjoying it and he still works really hard and is good at basketball, it's none of my business. So it's really like he talked about in the stream that I watched, figuring out like, oh, I've hated Philadelphia because I've been taught to for 10 years. I've been taught to hate Jaylen Brown for 10 years. So I'm glad to have him on the team because I think he's really good. But it still feels weird. It feels like I'm wearing somebody else's shoes.
Totally.
Yeah.
I feel like I constantly refer to Jaylen Brown as an anti-vaxxer dribbled off his feet. And now I'm just like, he's really smart. He just has like really like strong values around like what people should be able to do to his body. And like, he's sometimes maybe he's not good at that kind of dribbling, but he's really good at, I'm just like, so like, I can tell the writing is on the wall that I am ready to be a complete apologist. And like, I feel like I come by it honestly, because a lot of times when I text Mike about the Sixers, I'm so annoyed. Like I'm like annoyed at Embiid. I don't like the vibes. I'm like frustrated. I mean, just pick a thing. Like I'm frustrated. Now it's like, first we beat the Celtics and that was the best. I was like high. Like for days, just off. It was great. I loved it. Yeah. And then getting Jaylen after beating the Celtics, like a switch flipped in me where now I'm just like, I'm in it to win it. And I don't win it is like championship vibes. I don't even know, but I'm just fully in. I'm a push off defender. Like it's fine. Sometimes you got to push off. Like we love it. So yeah, I'm all in. I'm here. I'm ready.
It. I like that you very conveniently in the timeline skipped over the part where the Knicks swept the Sixers 4-0.
That does ring a bell, sort of.
We beat the Celtics, and then I don't remember what happened, and then we got Jaylen Brown.
That is, but if you
bell.
ask any Sixers fan, that is how they would describe it. We beat the Celtics, and then we got Jaylen Brown.
As you 1,000% should. Like, I think you should completely.
I think that should be a rule. If you beat a team in the playoffs,
happened.
you get to pick whichever player from that team you want and have them next year.
Wait, that's
NBA
such
Street
a good...
Volume 2 rules? Yeah.
So now the Knicks have Wemby. I hope they'll all get along.
Fuck Wemby. I don't want Wemby. Give me Stephon Castle and his pineapple hair. I'd rather have him.
Sal, it is so funny how quickly your brain shifts to like coming around on someone as soon as you have to, like, as a Cubs fan, we reference this every episode, baseball reference. The speed at which I was like, well, maybe Alex Bregman wasn't really listening to the trash cans. He seems like a good guy. Let's root for him.
Is he on the Cubs now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my condolences. I was so praying that the Yankees didn't get in. I'm delighted that they didn't. Because I wouldn't have. He's like one of the few guys I wouldn't have converted. I would have been like, I hope this guy bats 0 for us.
What's that guy's deal? Just really quickly.
He was on the cheating Astros that cheated and stole the series away from the Yankees, the ahead of schedule 2017 Yankees. And then after they got like legitimately caught, like no denying it caught, in the opening season the next year after the allegations like were cemented, he had this really stupid interview where he was like, can't we just like put it behind us? And I was like, no, you cheated and won the World Series.
Now
and Altuve won an MVP. Like we can't just put it behind us.
People were banging on trash cans to let them know what pitch was coming. And somebody uncovered it.
Oh, you didn't hear about... All right. Well,
I did hear Astros cheating.
I'll send you a voice memo text message about this, Al.
Okay, please. I mean, I know about the Astros cheating, but I don't know anything beyond that. So.
Oh, it's deliciously terrible, and I'm still really angry about it. It's almost been 10 years since they beat the Yankees.
This is what I want to know, right? So the Sixers get Jaylen Brown. Vibes are already good. A lot of people are saying, like, just that alone puts them probably in, like, the top 4 in the East. Then they get LeBron. So, like, both Hal and Sal, what were your, like, ceiling expectations when they got Brown? And then how has that shifted now that they have LeBron?
It wasn't just Brown for me. It was because their starting 5 has always been decent. They've had decent starting 5 the last couple of years. It's been depth.
It's always like that. If everyone's healthy...
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then by the playoffs, like Embiid is healthy until he like trips or gets Bell's palsy. Like the list of crazy, like normal big man
Him
injuries.
Getting appendicitis is insane.
Yeah. That was like,
that timing is
what else?
Absurd. Yeah.
Like,
He's
what
going to get a
other-
root canal next.
Did
He's
he
gonna
try to
get
keep the Jews from
chicken pox.
leaving Egypt, and we're just at like plague number 7? Is that what's happening
Really?
right now?
It beat out locusts.
Yeah. But once you get, the problem is once you get past a lot of those guys, you have zero depth. They trade Jared McCain, who turns into an absolute flamethrower in the playoffs, which I was thrilled for him. Like, oh, you got out. Congratulations, you got away from Shawshank. You're on a beach in Zihuatanejo.
Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Really?
But the signing of Wade to have someone who can like a switchable positional defender, and a guy like Anthony Simons, like having those guys off the bench made me more confident that we could maybe get out of a second round. But there's maybe enough depth there to get out of the second round. Then the LeBron James stuff, I just wanted it to be over so that we could figure out like who else we're gonna get. And I hated like every single rumor that came out from the like the Cavs are the front runner, or Miami put up a press conference video too early. That guy's got to be fired. Whoever
He
did
was
that.
fired immediately.
100% is fired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he really?
Gone.
They at least had an opening for that position like a day later. So,
So funny.
if he wasn't fired, at best, they hired a second person for the job.
The only requirement was must understand how scheduling works.
Yeah.
So when he signed, number one, it still feels fake. Number two, it's like if you asked me to like draw up the perfect person to slot into that starting five and move Dean Wade to the bench, which is way better.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
Because I remember you texted me, you were very excited about Dean Wade. And I was like, yeah, but like not if he's starting. And then they got LeBron and it was like, okay, wait, sorry.
Yeah.
Let me take that back. I didn't, not like that.
And LeBron has a lot of experience playing with people named D Wade, so I do like that.
Yeah, dude, that connection.
They play really well with him. But like a guy who is a gifted playmaker, a guy who can rebound, a guy who can score, a guy who like I don't put LeBron, like if I were to pick the greatest basketball players of all time, he's arguably in the top 3 for me, definitely in the top 5. I put Jordan over him 100% because I don't think he has the same killer instinct that Jordan had. I don't care about the plumber argument or how talented the teams around them were. Like Jordan didn't go to another team to get better. He would rather have 4 trash cans out there and try to murder you than go anywhere else. But LeBron has changed the league and how players move around, and he's going to make the team better, and he's going to make those young players better. And that's really exciting to me. Is like instantly the ceiling feels like potentially a championship, but also like the hidden benefit of all of this. And I promise I'll stop talking, but I never get to talk about basketball on any of my other shows. And all I want to talk about all the time is you now have 5 players where if 1 or 2 of them need to rest for an extended period of time, you don't feel like you're going to go on a 10 to 15 game losing streak. Like you have enough pieces there to get a decently high seed, and Embiid, who now is in shape and like looks like he's lost weight and is able to lift weights 5 days a week and doesn't have to play 40 minutes a night for the team to win. That is huge and makes the Sixers a lot more dangerous when the spring comes around, if he doesn't have his leg fall off or a piano fall on him while he's walking down Broad Street.
Yeah. Now, the LeBron thing, I think, is especially interesting, not just because of all the drama with the will he, won't he, where's he going to go? And then obviously you've got the media circus that LeBron being on your team brings. But what's also fascinating about him, how he kind of got into this, is people have very strong opinions about LeBron since he's been in the league for so long. There's the GOAT discussion. So for both of you, what was your pre-LeBron is the 76ers vibe on LeBron? And then now that he's on the Sixers, does it change? Sal, I'll start with you since you've not really discussed your LeBron feelings.
My LeBron feelings are that, like, he's obviously an incredibly gifted athlete. I think that he is, I feel that I'll just say what I said over text. I think he's kind of corny, Mike.
Yeah. Oh, that's like a given.
Yeah. And I thought like one of the reasons I thought he was definitely going to go to the Warriors or maybe the Cavs. And one of the reasons is because I feel like Steph is really corny and they could just like kind of do their thing of being like like otherworldly talented and incredibly corny together. I don't really have any strong feelings, probably because I'm like a newer fan of basketball. Yeah. The media circus thing, like I have found the last couple years to be so frustrating because like not last season, but the season before, it was just sort of like the most miserable slog. Like even Tyrese Maxey seemed miserable and unhappy. And when Maxey looks unhappy, that's when you know it's like you're kind of at like an all-time low. Mm-hmm. And this is just such a change vibes wise that I'm excited about it. And it's like, I'm on record as saying that like, I don't think we can win a championship with Embiid on our team, which is like a very unpopular opinion. Well, maybe it's not that unpopular, but like,
no,
but I feel like the only thing that could possibly change that would be something as big and as like kind of paradigm shifting as LeBron coming here, because LeBron is like a force of nature, you know, as an athlete and as a person, as like a teammate, as like a mini GM. And I feel like nothing can be done about the fact that Embiid gets these really like freak, you know, injuries and sicknesses and stuff like that. But if LeBron James can like bring something out in Embiid, did you guys read that long profile of Embiid that came out like last season?
Yep, absolutely not.
Okay,
you could not have paid me to read words about Joel Embiid.
It was really good. Yeah.
You probably sent me a link to it, Hal, and I probably just hit thumbs up on Instagram to be like, yeah, I read this
because there was no middle finger available right then.
It was such a good and in-depth profile. Like, I also think like as a journalist, I find the celebrity profile to be kind of like one of the most boring things that we have, institutions that we have. I thought it was a really good profile. But the thing that I like really took out of it is like, he is a defeated man, like emotionally and psychologically, for like a lot of like good and sad reasons. And like, I read that and I was like, man, like, I don't know about Embiid leading this team to a championship. Like I was already not sure about it. And now I'm just like, it sounds like things are really rough for old Joel. And I feel like now things could change because the energy of like Maxey and VJ and LeBron, I have to admit that I don't really know that much about Dean Wade or Anthony. But
you don't have to. They're good at basketball, but they're like
a couple of thumbs.
Okay, cool. I mean, but the combination of like a deeper bench and like what LeBron could bring in terms of just like, he's kind of like I feel like what we know about LeBron's attitude towards like basketball and training and winning is kind of the opposite of what we know about Embiid's attitude, at least as they've been kind of like shown to us or told to us. And I just think that could be really great for the vibes. And I think we could also potentially get out of the second round. But I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because, you know, with the Sixers, it's like, have you guys seen Obsession?
Mm-hmm. You texted me this earlier. I've read the Wikipedia summary of it because I heard it was too scary.
Okay, yeah. It's just relevant in terms of like, be careful what you wish for type vibes. And it's like, when people are like, oh my God, it's LeBron and like, what's this going to mean? I think of the James Franco meme where he's like, first time, because I feel like it's so much more likely that we could like ruin LeBron.
So that's, I think, the interesting angle of it is I was very adamant that LeBron was not going to join the Sixers because of all the options. I was like, this is the only one where if they don't win the championship, at least as a whole to like people analyzing LeBron, I think it's the only option where if he doesn't win the title, they will go, that's a failure. I'm interested for the two of you. What level of Sixers success this season do you consider a success or at least like a good enough run? Because for me last year with the double champion New York Knicks, going into it, it was like, we have to make the finals. And if we don't make the finals, it's a disappointment. But even as like the finals were happening, I was like, if we lost in the finals, I would still be like, this was cool. Winning was just a cherry on top. But if we lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to anyone, I would have been furious. So where do you all sit now with how good do the Sixers have to be?
many years ago stopped expecting what they would or wouldn't do. If you ask me what I think their ceiling is, I think their ceiling is winning a championship. They have the pieces there. And I agree with you, Sal. I've long been I've hopped on and off they can't win a championship with Embiid trophy. The other trolley I hopped to immediately is they can't win without him, because he carried them over the Celtics in the elimination game against the Knicks. He was the only one who showed up and played. He was perfect from the field. He just had zero help. And I didn't think there was
the elimination game. They lost by 30.
Yes.
Okay.
The elimination game, they lost by 30.
Just checking.
I didn't think coming into that series they were going to win. I thought if they were house money even to make it to the second round. So that they got beaten by a rested and nuclear hot Knicks team was not a surprise. It sucked, but it didn't hurt. It didn't really hurt because we had just beaten the Celtics, which was
it felt
really
like you already
fun and exciting.
overachieved in some ways. So
100%.
When I look at this season, I look at it and go, they're going to be so much fun to watch. I have to fly back to Philadelphia and go to games with my dad. He's had season tickets for 30 years. And so I've been there for really big. I was there for the 2001 finals. I watched an Embiid-less. I was there the night LeBron passed Kobe for the on the all-time scoring list, which was a win where Thibault absolutely locked up LeBron James and stole the ball from him in the first possession.
Very cool.
I want to be there and be part of this season, whatever it is, and that includes the media circus that you asked about before. Hey, if there's a Last Dance ish, but not exactly the same. There's still a LeBron James documentary series where Philadelphia is actually an important stop. That's exciting because we're 94 miles away from New York, but we might as well be in the center of the earth.
Yeah.
If we won a championship. And the Knicks had gone to the conference finals the year before and lost, people would talk about the Knicks before they would talk about the Sixers. And that's just the reality of sports media. They cover New York, LA, Chicago, then maybe Philadelphia. So
LeBron's not even going to live there. So
right, exactly. I don't care where he lives. He could be in France and come over as long as he puts on a Sixers jersey and goes to work. JJ Redick lived in Brooklyn. I don't care. Take the subway. It's easy. I've done it many times. I've taken the train to New York.
LeBron's going to take the Amtrak.
Yeah. Let him take the Amtrak.
Get an Acela lifetime pass or something. It's not that bad. It's quick.
It's quick. Yeah. A friend of mine was like, I don't know. It's kind of inauthentic. He's not living in Philly. And I was like, these people have a bazillion dollars. Wherever they live is not germane to They're living in a way that is so far from my life, anything I know or understand. Live where you want. Live in New Jersey, live in Philly. What? I don't care.
Yeah, you want him to get hit while he's bicycling around 13th and Chestnut like Kelly Oubre did?
Listen,
no
I
thanks. Put him in bubble wrap.
Put him in bubble wrap.
Now, when you guys,
I welcome all of it.
When you trade,
it'll be annoying, but it's good.
Tyrese Maxey for Bronny, how do you see him fitting into the team?
He's got a lot of room to develop.
I would
high upside.
Yeah, if he develops a reliable jumper and handle and finishing and defense, I think he could be a really good 14th, 15th.
Yeah, like a
poor
poor man's Thanasis, if you will.
Yeah.
Oh man, poor Bronny.
Now you can tell I'm coming from a place of privilege this offseason because when the rumors are swirling that the Knicks were one of the teams in the mix, I was saying this to people and freaking out as I typed it. But I was saying I hope we don't sign LeBron James, which is a wild thing to say. But the main reason was I was just worried of what he would do to the vibes. Are you concerned at all with the combination of Tyrese Maxey being the guy? I think him and VJ both have elite perfect vibes. The team has restructured around Tyrese. VJ was just so delightful and fun and better than people could have anticipated. But now you've got Jaylen Brown, who was let me get out of the Celtics because I don't want to be the number 2 option. Now he's the number 4 option. And then you have LeBron James trying to add another title, have a documentary going. Are you worried that the vibes might be competing? Joel Embiid is here too. There's a new GM trying to be better than Daryl Morey. The owner does weird stuff. From purely vibes perspective, not basketball, just vibes. Are you concerned? Do you think it's not going to be a big deal because winning solves everything? How do you feel?
Let me give you 4 words that'll tell you why I'm not worried. Al Horford, Josh Richardson. That is the worst vibe team ever, and they were the number 1 seed in the East that year. This team, I think, Tyrese Maxey leads with joy, and it is infectious. Joel Embiid, like, knowingly goes like, "This is your team. And I will do whatever." I think we are fed a narrative about every single player that they're an issue if they're not the number 1 from no matter where they are. Like, there are very few exceptions. And then the guys who we think are comfortable in their role, we really like, is like, yeah, they know what their job is and they bring their lunch pail and they get it done. I think these are five guys in your starting 5. And I think across the roster, it's a bunch of people who are excited to play with LeBron, who grew up watching him and want to learn from him. And I think it's a LeBron who's coming in. I don't think he's coming in to be the man on that team. I think he's coming in like, I think I can help. I think this is a really good team. And I love Tyrese Maxey. So like and even Jaylen Brown, like if you say like he's saying all the right things right now, which everybody does when they're introduced.
Yeah.
But the guy has a championship for a reason. There's a reason why he dragged a Celtics team that wasn't supposed to be good last year. Like, they have a lot of great pieces. Derek White had an outstanding season, but without Jaylen Brown, they're not the team that they were. So he has the ability to do that, but I also think he's a quality team player. I don't think my knock on him was ever, he's going to be tough it's tough because he always wants the ball and has to have the ball.
If anything, I think that maybe LeBron's greatest quality is his efficiency. Like, I am a, lifelong Bulls fan, will die on the hill that Jordan is the greatest player of all time. But when you look at LeBron, even in the years that he's scoring a lot of points, it's always within the flow of the game. He's not taking bad shots. He's always passing the ball. Like, the amount of times the guy scores 30 plus points on like less than 15 field goal attempts, it's unbelievable. I think he's going to be a great fit.
I also just like, we don't know how it's going to go. It's like Hal said, like, Jaylen Brown is like saying all the right things right now. It's like the beginning of the relationship. It's the honeymoon. Everyone's
Right.
happy, and then real life starts, and we'll see. But I have to say, like, if you remember, we had a player who would not show up, who came to practice with his cell phone in his pocket and like wouldn't play. Like, we are no strangers. Like,
Was that Harden?
the vibe.
No, that was Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons?
That was Ben Simmons, and
Yeah, Ben
but thank you,
Simmons.
Adam, for bringing up Harden, another
Yeah, 'cause-
another player who wouldn't show up, and the vibes were atrocious. So, like, I believe that we have survived and thrived through some of the most rancid vibes, and so it's like, are we gonna have like bad vibes because everyone who's playing in our starting lineup is just so goddamn good at basketball? I guess we'll just have to get through that together. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And I know I've heard a lot of people be like, there's only one ball. And, maybe we should have more than one ball, but we'll put a pin in that. But like, but like, I do have to say, like, I agree with Hal about like the narratives that we get fed. And I just think that like, and I think you can see this when there are players that like fans don't like, but obviously like other players like. People are like, Jaylen Brown, he's a locker room cancer, all this stuff. But I don't know. They seem excited that he's there. So like in the same way that I feel like there's just a lot of stuff that goes on that we don't know about, like maybe Jaylen Brown is going to be really excited to fit in a system that he feels like he can like learn and grow. And he says he likes to learn and grow. And maybe that means he'll be cool with like whatever role he's playing. And so will VJ. Like maybe it'll all just be great. And, but if not, that's fine, because we've gotten through like way worse vibes.
Sal, I have to say, if we're already at a point where the NBA is experimenting with when you get fouled shooting a 3, you shoot 1 free throw worth 3 points, I think 2 balls is not off the table. I feel like we're at the point where we could at least try it in the G League. Let's see what happens.
Let's get
It's
zany
a
with it.
multi-ball. Yeah.
What does everybody think is the worst vibes championship team of all time, where they won a championship, but the vibes of the team?
I think it would have been the
terrible.
Lakers team with Karl Malone if they had beaten the Pistons. That team sucked.
If they, but
Yeah.
they didn't win.
But they didn't.
You got to
They
pick one that
didn't win.
won.
So I would say
That's a really good question.
I mean, one of the Lakers teams maybe when Kobe and Shaq were not getting along, but I feel like they always
Yeah,
figured
that's
it out
probably an
by the
answer.
time they
One of-
won.
That's a good one.
I mean, the 98 Bulls had terrible vibes. They were just so good, and they had done it so many times. Like, you couldn't, sometimes you overcome the vibes, but that's experience together. Like, if that Knicks team, if this past postseason had been their first postseason together, I don't think they get out of the conference finals. I don't even know if they get out of the first round against the Hawks. But when you're seasoned and you've played together a bunch, especially like Pippen and Jordan and then whatever space junk is around them, like they can overcome that because they have a system that works. They have a coach that everybody listens to. So you can overcome like vibes are important because you want the team to be fun and you want to see them like having fun with each other. It's part of the joy of following a team, but I don't think it's essential to win.
Relevant to this conversation, I was going to say, maybe in retrospect, more recently, when the Celtics won, the vibes weren't that good. Maybe it was Jaylen Brown like wanting to be the guy more than Jason Tatum, and internally, things weren't so peachy.
I think the thing with vibes is like we saw with the 2026 NBA champion New York Knicks is that you literally just need to get the vibes at the right time. The regular season was a slog. Like, it was taking years off my life, and I knew it was going to because before the season started, as I said, I was like, crap, if we don't make the finals, it's a sad season. And we just like were this team where like we were fine, but we could never string it together. And like we would win games barely against bad teams and we'd lose games we should have won and all this stuff. And then we go down in the Hawks series and I was like in a bad place when we were down 2-1. And then it was like, oh, just kidding. We're the greatest team of all time and everything's fine. Like the Sixers can just pull it together during the playoffs. And I think there are the potentials of bad vibes, but like as long as you sort it out before you get eliminated from the playoffs, it's never too late. And I think there's the chance. I will also say this just so that it's recorded on the podcast so that either I look great or terrible. All this stuff is going on with the Sixers. Get Brown, you get LeBron. Maybe it's because the Knicks won the title, but like, I'm just not worried. I'm not worried about it. And this could age so poorly. The Sixers could win the championship, and kudos to you if you do. But like, I don't know. I'm just not worried. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just not worried. And this makes me think that the Sixers will be great because in previous seasons, in the Paul George era with Maxey and everything, there were times where I was like really worried about the Sixers, and then it was a complete flop. So maybe you guys are going to win the title because I'm not sweating it.
I was going to ask you about that just because. Obviously, congratulations again on the Knicks, your 2026 NBA champions.
Double champions. We won the NBA Cup, too.
That's true. That's true.
I was wondering what the other one was. Okay, right.
The NBA Cup. The fact that there's no merchandise about us winning both of them, the fact that they didn't reference it once during the entire finals
when it was a rematch of the same
broadcast,
teams, crazy.
Yeah.
It's what is Adam Silver doing? You want the NBA Cup to be a thing? You haven't referenced the Cup once? This finals was a proof of concept.
No, it's true.
What I was going to ask you was, looking around at the East, there are a lot of teams that got better, from Indiana getting Tyrese Halliburton back to the Heat trying to load up Toronto if Kawhi doesn't go up on more FEC violations. But like there are teams that got a lot. Like the
My
Hawks,
Bulls
I think,
going
are
from
a really
15th
compelling
best
team.
to 13th best. Come on,
the Bulls making a two seed leap. Like it feels like a lot of teams, and then the Celtics are always the Celtics. I don't know if they are. If Paul George is healthy, they're going to be really good again. The Knicks feel like not only did they not change, but they got worse because they lost Mitch Robinson. So now there's no real, like, Drummond is really fun. He's a dog guy, so I love him. And if that 3-point shot stays, he's going to be helpful, but he's not a playable player in the playoffs. So now you're in a situation where if you play against an Embiid or another center who can get Cat in foul trouble, all of a sudden it doesn't look as good. So you have no. I mean, I guess for now you kind of have to coast off of we won. We could have done it without Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of had to. He punched his truck and had a non-functioning hand during the finals. He like couldn't catch lobs, couldn't catch rebounds. The thing with Mitch is he got injured so much that you always had to operate in the whole space of like, well, if he's there, cool, but we can't game plan for this. Right. I obviously we did get worse by not getting Mitch, and honestly, you guys getting Ariel Hukporti made me really sad. Like I thought Hukporti was good, and I was excited for his future. So I'm very stoked for you guys having him because I'm jealous. But Yeah, maybe it's because we won the title and all I needed was one before I die. But like, I don't know. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about any other team. I guess because we've won, we went like 16-1, winning every game by 50 points, that I'm like, let's wait till we're bad before I'm worried. And even if we're bad, don't care. We won the 2026 title. Nothing matters. Nothing matters.
Yeah, I've been through that twice with the Eagles in the last 5 years. Yeah. So I definitely get it. Like, you come out of it and go like, whatever. Why couldn't we win again? Almost everybody's back. And
By the way,
they either do or they don't.
Are we considering this still is this like the culmination of the process? Is this the last gasp of what the process is? Because Embiid is still there, or are we in a post-process
That's a great final question.
It's a great question, but I feel like as someone who moved to Philly in 2018 and started watching the Sixers in 2020, I feel it would be stolen valor for me to weigh in on this. So, Hal, I want to throw it right back to you.
I think the process ended when Hinkie was forced out of the league. The league intervened in a way that they never did with OKC or other teams that have lost purposefully to get draft picks. They're not the only team to do it. Hinkie did it probably. Presti did it the best, but Hinkie was that same model. The number of draft picks.
He did it first and the most brazenly was the problem.
He did it brazenly, but also like what he amassed out of that, all of those draft picks, and they bring in the can we curse on this podcast?
Yeah. Yes, you can.
The fucking Colangelos, and they ruined the team. The dipshit son ruined it, and his fossil dad.
Elton Brand ruined it.
Yeah, so like that was really the end of the process as we know it. But it's fun for people who don't like the Sixers to mock the process and go, "See, it didn't work because you traded a draft pick to get Markelle Fultz." But like, that's not Hinkie didn't do that. So we'll never know what the outcome would have been. I don't know if Hinkie could have made a good team. He was really good at making a bad one. But I would say if Joel Embiid is on this team at the end of this season, which I hope he is, I love him as a person. I think he's a really, probably of the like major superstars, to me he feels like really human because so much of him is like self-doubt and trauma and things that a lot of us have experienced in some way, and he has to do that all with everybody having an opinion about everything he eats, says, does, and on the court and off. But if they were to win a championship with him, that would be called the culmination of the process. I think the process died in 2016, I think was when they forced Hinkie out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think we never got to see the full culmination of the process because we didn't get to see them like fully do phase 2. It made the NBA made them like speed it up, which is anti the process. The process has to take a long time, and they didn't get to like fully see it all the way through. Yeah. Okay. Any final parting thoughts about this Sixers, the upcoming season, et cetera, that you didn't get to get off in this conversation?
I just want to say I didn't really answer your question about what would make it successful. And I think our ceiling is the championship. If we get to the second round, that's our championship for me, is getting out of the second round. And I don't mind saying it. And then
I think that's been the vibe because the Sixers haven't gotten there. Right. Like that's what even made the Knicks sting when we lost to the Pacers. It was like, okay, but we haven't been to the Eastern Conference Finals in 22 years or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Fine.
Because even the infamous Kawhi, frozen moment ball bouncing in, that wasn't the conference finals. That was the second round.
Yeah, and he traveled.
Certainly wasn't.
And he traveled.
And he shouldn't have been on that. He also would go on to get 3 shitty deals.
What businesses did he own in Toronto?
The only other thing I would say is that if the Sixers do win the championship, I think just fairness wise, me and Hal take over Horse, the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
The stakes are high.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
I feel like we all agree
idea
that
of
that's
some
reasonable.
sort of Sal and Hal collaboration, whether it's Horse or something
victory
else.
lap episode. If you win the championship, we definitely do a victory lap episode where the two of you call the shots and decide the segments and everything. I'm fully down for that.
And we do the thing funny. Have you guys ever heard those podcasts where someone moves into a house as like a roommate, but then they exploit tenant laws and they never leave?
Oh, you'll be
doing that
squatting.
podcast
You're
wise.
squatting
Yeah, that's where-
as a horse
we're
host.
gonna-
Squatters' rights.
We
Squatters'
send you
rights.
the video chat link every time, and we let you know when you're recording, and you have full availability to pop in
Hilarious.
and just be like, "Hey, remember that time the Sixers won?"
We won, so here we
We're
are.
like Bob Hope with the Tonight Show. We can just walk on whenever we want with
Exactly.
a golf club over our shoulder. and do
100%.
bits.
Hal and Sal, any plugs, any places you want people to follow you, things you want them to check out?
You can follow me on Blue Sky at sal.gay if you're enough of a nerd to be on Blue Sky. And then you can also listen to my podcast, Critical Lit, which is about tabletop role-playing games. And I am one of 4 co-hosts.
Sweet.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Hal?
I'm definitely going to listen to that and follow you on Blue Sky. You can follow me at Hal Lublin all over the place, hallublin.com on Blue Sky. And I have 3 podcasts for you to listen to. One is We Got This with Mark and Hal, which Mike has been on, was a fantastic guest and is owed a return. I have Good Morning Night Vale, which is a Welcome to Night Vale recap podcast with me and 2 other of the cast members from Welcome to Night Vale. And Tights and Fights, which is a wrestling podcast where I am the only straight white guy, and which means I'm the least important, which is the way it should be. And also, is this coming out before Labor Day? I assume this is very
This will
current.
come out like
Yes.
soon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're going to be at Dragon Con, I'm doing a whole bunch of panels and shows there. So
cool.
say hi, especially if you're a Sixers fan. I would love to talk basketball with
Hell
you.
yeah.
Amazing.
Nice,
Well,
cool.
thank you both for joining us. If I may, I'd like to end this interview as Colin Coward would. Hey, Ben Simmons, we're good. We've got LeBron James now.
Because famously he said, "LeBron, we're good. We've got Ben Simmons."
Like
Yeah.
12 years ago.
Wow, wow.
He
What a
said,
guy.
go ahead and
What
retire.
a guy.
We're good. The league's good. We got Ben Simmons now.
Man.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Horror Sources, hosted by Adam Amawala and Mike Schubert. This episode was edited by Mike Schubert. The music is by Bettina Campomanes. The website's by Aurelia Lieb. The art is by Alison Wakeman. And the social media is by both of the Horse Boys.
Thank you to our producer level patrons, Polly Bird, Salvatore Testa, Siobhan Ellsbury, Don't Go Chasing Taco Falls, Bang, Bang, Roast Beef Debris, Denver Steam Nuggets, Anna Reed, Steph Curry got a contract extension.
It's an
Oh,
extended.
you extended the bang, I understand. Chase
Extended the
Underrulo, Naked Rachel, Sidney Crosby is a vampire, Chelsea's cousin, Ginger Spurs boy, Balls to the Walls, Mats Furley, Utah Josh, Derry Bird, Alternate Reality NBA Wife, and Bucking Valkyries. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Horse Hoops and on Twitter at Horse_Hoops because
Horse Hoops used to tweet from a Daktronics scoreboard, and that was part of the situation with Kawhi.
yeah, and you know what? Not a single retweet from Kawhi. It could have been that simple, and they still didn't do it.
The playbook for spokesperson, even one who's uncharismatic but doing the bare minimum, look at what OG Anunoby does for Skechers. Kawhi should be doing that, where he will just post an Instagram post of him wearing Skechers, and the caption is like, "at Skechers basketball."
Exactly. The least amount of effort.
So easy.
That's what we expect from
It's so
celebrities when
easy.
they do brand deals. It's like a known thing.
That's all you got to do, and you won't get sued. Oh.
Exactly. You can go to our website, horsehoops.com, for links to the many things we discussed today. I would presume some LeBron content, among other stuff.
LeBron tent.
LeBron tent, exactly.
And if you want to support the Horse Boys, go to patreon.com/horsehoops. You'll get the video version of this episode. You'll get bonus audio, bonus video, bonus content, ad-free episodes, lots of good stuff. If you go to horsehoops.com/merch, you can get digital merchandise, Sup Nerds items. And we're going to close this episode out, as we always do, by putting our hands in the middle and saying something on the count of 3. How are we feeling? What are we feeling?
Well, we had a great interview today, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe just a Hal and Sal on 3.
Hal and Sal. How about this? In paying homage to the Sixers, the way they do their song where they go 10-9-8 76ers. What if we go 10-9-8 Hal and Sal instead of
Sure.
1-2-3?
I like it.
Okay, great. So 10-9-8
Hal and Sal. What a combo. What a duo.
So good.
Dynamic, even.
Very much so.